Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video, and you may have seen by now on various different reputable news sources some well-researched articles and broadcasts about Japan's new, giant, realistic real transformer. Well, I have some amazing news for you. If you actually go see said real transformer in Japan, you can grab one of these tiny versions for up on your own shelf. This, of course, is the 1/44th scale RX-78F00 real transformer by Bandai. And as you can see from the side of the box, it's exactly like you would see if you went to go see it in person in Yokohama. I sadly did not go see it yet. I actually just bought this online. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. What is that I hear? There's something in there. And that sounds a little something like a sponsor. Fun fact, there are 7.5 billion humans in the world that could be playing Raid Shadow Legends right now, and tens of millions already are. Let me tell you about why you should be one of them. Play Raid anytime, anywhere. Beat 10 top dungeon bosses. Complete an awesome story campaign. Build champions from every faction. Collect hundreds of powerful champions. Join a clan and play with friends. Fight against millions of players across the world. Endless content and infinite ways to play. Like I've said thousands of times before, it's the perfect game to play while building some gunpla. Get a kit, slap Raid down beside you, hit auto, and grind away. Raid just released the Artifact Forge, where you can save time and craft artifacts directly, as well as a whole new advanced quest system with amazing rewards. And that's not all. They also brought out some amazing new champions, and they're developing the amazing looking Doom Tower as we speak. Support my channel by downloading Raid Shadow Legends using the links below, and if you're a new player, you can get an exclusive welcome pack that contains 50,000 silver, 50 gems, 5 mystery shards, 1 energy refill, 1 day experience boost, 1 clan boss key, and a free awesome champion, Shaman. Look at this cool champion they're giving you for free. You will find your extra rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. So jumping right into the review with absolutely everything that comes in the box, and I have to say, this real transformer right here, or should I say the RX-78F00 Gundam, which of course is that new 1:1 scale Gundam from Yokohama in Japan, this kit comes with a lot more than I expected that it would. For one, we've got the entire standard Gundam loadout, which is shield, rifle, and beam sabers. We also have some extra hands, which is a nice bonus. Just like as advertised in the packaging, we do get that big old G-Dock, which is a scale model of what is going on down in Yokohama, and on the whole, I'm quite impressed. So the first thing I'll say about the actual model kit itself is, it's a lot, well, better than I anticipated. The reason is because, according to the box, this is just a 1/44th scale Gundam, which does mean this little guy right here does not have a grade, so this is not a high grade kit, and I really don't see why. This kit right here is essentially on par with any high grade I've looked at recently. Everything's the same, it's got the same sort of polycap joints, the color separation is pretty much what you would expect for a high grade, and of course, the color separation is not exact. The actual Gundam should be the color that we see on the box, not this standard color, so every color on the RX-78F00 has 2 shades to it. Of course, that means the yellow has some orange on there, the blue has a lighter blue, and the white has some gray. That, of course, is not reflected in this particular kit. This is all in 1 shade of each color. Not unusual for a high grade, I might add. But that gets me to the next point. I expected this kit to have a lot of stickers, which it does, but not in the way I thought it would. So yeah, the stickers that we get in here are predominantly for using on the Gundam dock, not for actually on the Gundam. So that means if you do want this color accurate, your only choice is to paint it, but it still looks pretty cool, especially one particular aspect, which of course you've noticed by now is that extreme level of panel lines, which of course I will do in a couple of seconds. But first I do have to mention that I have quite the gripe with this sheet of stickers, because the ones for the eyes are 2 separate parts. I hate this. There's also a white section between both of the eyes, which looks just weird, and you can see the overlap. And to make things even worse, the eyes aren't even reflective, so they don't look good. And I think I've got them on a little bit cockeyed. Those eye stickers blow. But anyway, let's get this thing paneled up so we can see all of that detail. Here we go. And finally, there is the 1/44 scale RX-78F00 panel lined, and you can see the difference that has made. This thing is absolutely etched to the end of the earth in panel lines. This is crazy. The legs themselves took me forever, and I did the fastest, quickest, sloppiest job possible. And it still looks mesmerizing. Also included in this box, as well as the stickers, is a couple of decals. So these are the sticker style decal, nothing special. I've just popped them up on the shoulders there, and they look pretty cool as well. Honestly, out of the box with some panel lining and those stickers, this looks incredible. Let's get some other RX-78s to compare it to. So that right there is the RX-78F00, and that is side by side with the Revive, which is the cheapest, most standard version you can get in 1/44 scale of the classic Granddaddy Gundam. As for fancy versions, here is the Beyond Global in its really unique color palette and somewhat revised proportions. And as you can see, this just looks somehow so much more detailed. Well, it is, on the surface, more detailed than both of those. So when it comes to physical surface detail, the kit that it's probably the closest to would be this right here. And as you can see, I like that kit so much I've played around with it a lot. That of course is the Origin version of the RX-78-2. So yeah, you could definitely think this is just another high-grade sized RX-78-2, but this one is a little bit different once again because it packs in so much detail. Detail-wise, yes, it is somewhat similar to the Origin version, but at the same time, it's so much different. So moving on to that full 360-degree rotation, and everything about this looks beautiful. I adore this kit. There's some nice little design elements in this that are directly related to the 1/1 scale statue. That would be those little gaps in the thighs, the big blocky sections that attach the hip joints into the waist unit, and those big old grey circular sections in the upper parts of the arms which attach into the shoulders. Those are obviously some of the actual mechanical segments of this statue, and that is pretty cool to see them on here. Besides that, the design is awesome. I actually thought all the panel lines would be a little bit on the busy side, but I love it. I actually think I may prefer this without the two-tone to every color. This right here to me looks beautiful. Honestly, this is a pretty cool take on the Granddaddy Gundam, and I'm digging it. So now moving right on into the accessories, and here is the 1/44 scale Gundam RX-78F00 with absolutely everything that it comes with. So that is that Gundam dock, a total of 5 hands, and the standard Gundam loadout of beam sabers, shield, and beam rifle. As for the hands, we've got a standard set of fists that are also holding hands, some widespread jazz hands, and one right hand trigger finger hand, so it can only hold the beam rifle in the right hand. At first glance, the beam sabers may just look like standard beam sabers, but if you get in quite close, you'll notice that the handle has a two-tone color, which I've never seen before, and honestly, I think that looks outstanding. It's so simple, but so awesome. As usual, when these are not in use, you just pop out the beam, just like so, and they just pop up into the backpack, just like so. Once again, I love that two-tone color. Next up then in here is the beam rifle. This is extremely nice. For the most part, the whole main body is just the one color. The detail, just like the rest of it, is awesome. We've got a yellow section in there for the sight, and all this makes me wonder is, will we be seeing a 1:1 scale rifle on this statue sometime in the future? From some of its movements, I assume that we will, and if we do, that will be awesome. Next up then, in here's the shield. Once again, this looks fantastic. This has been panelized. I used brown on the red, black on the white, and the detail on this is fantastic. I will mention though that the panel lines on this are a little bit on the shallow side, so I had to leave the marker on that till it dried and then rub off the excess with a rubber eraser. If I did it straight away, it just came right out of those panel lines. Round back, we have a moving handle, can move up and down like so. We have an attachment point right here. As usual, the attachment point is on the arm, but when we're not using that, it is covered up by this little panel right here. To attach this, you can pop it into the hand first, and then into the side of the arm, or you could just attach it into the side of the arm. It's good and secure either way. It is worth noting this can only be attached onto the side of the arm. There is a second hole under this piece of armor on this side if you want to attach it on the other side. But because it is just attached to the side, that does mean you can't put it round back, and that can limit the poses to some degree. Now that it is fully loaded up in a pose with all of its equipment, there is no denying just how good this looks. Honestly, I thought this would be a gimmicky, cheap little kit that you just pick up when you go to the Yokohama factory and that it wouldn't actually be a good kit. But it's not a good kit, it's an awesome kit. It is simple in some regards, the eye stickers aren't great, but look at this, it's so cool. So on to the final accessory, and that of course is the Gundam dock itself. So I tried sticking on the sticker just there, and I was doing it in front of the camera to record it, and I botched it a little bit. I'm just gonna fold it around the corner. That probably drive people mad, but here we go. So this is basically a small replica of what is going on down there in Yokohama. This right here is essentially made out of two different elements, which slot inside of each other. Well, not inside of each other, that one goes in there. The first bit is pretty much what the Gundam itself attaches to. There's some cool detail on this, including what look like some ladders, a little bit of a staircase or something down here, so that's pretty cool. This is all on essentially a track, which allows it to move forward and back inside of the cage segment. As for attaching the Gundam, you just pull off this bit on its butt flap, exposing the hole. We've got a somewhat adjustable stand here. This segment here can move up like this and off. And we've got three different positions, which is basically in the air, standing up, and crouching. For the sake of example, we're just gonna go for the standing position right here. The Gundam then just attaches in there like so, then onto that bit, simple as, and then this all just pops in there. On the bottom of this, we have the tracks for it to slide back and forward on. It's just a simple mechanism, and you just have to align that onto those. And when that is attached in there, the Gundam and the stand it's attached to can slide back and forward like this. It's a simple mechanism, but it does work. I'm pretty sure the 1:1 moving Gundam in Yokohama can slide in and out like this, so this is just replicating that mechanism. The last of the moving mechanisms are these little arms here that can move in and out like so. As far as I can tell from this, these are some kind of walkways, maybe for accessing different parts of the RX-78F00. Also, if you do move this out and pop that little stand segment up into the top slot, you can get this into some aerial poses. As far as I know, the 1:1 scale statue right now doesn't do anything like that. I hope it will. If we do have a slot for the kneeling position, which it can do right now, maybe it might have a top aerial position. That would be pretty cool. And speaking of positions, now moving on to the articulation to see what kind of poses this thing can bust. And first off, I will mention that build-wise, this is solid. The only thing I find is occasionally the legs will screw off like so because of the big old blocky style they have gone with for the upper leg. Well, I assume that's just the way it looks in the actual 1:1 scale Gundam, but besides that, solid. So first up the neck is your standard giggity goo polycap. So this does exactly what you'd expect. There's all the way up, all the way down, side to side, standard. The shoulder is your standard polycap. This is orientated up and down. Again, this is high grade in everything but name. We have a ball joint that pops into that. It can raise up like so. And there is the arm all the way up. We have no full rotation at the upper arm, which is part of the design of this, but we do have rotation right here instead. We've got a 2-point bend at the elbow. It doesn't go ridiculously far, but it's not so bad. We've got a basic ball joint right here for the wrist. A surprisingly nice ab crunch here. So we've got the standard ball inside of the waist and a little bit in the torso itself. So impressive. Not quite the origin, but it's not so bad. Side to side, a little bit limited. Standard ball joint front skirtings, the usual polycap side skirting, so that's side to side and up and down slightly. Standard paralyzed butt flap. The waist has that rocking up and down mechanism inside. As for the kicks, there's all the way up to the front. Not bad. All the way out to the back. Whoa, that's pretty bad. With the side skirts out of the way, there's the legs all the way to the side so we can pull off the full splits. Full rotation here at the upper leg. We've got a 2-point knee bend. That's okay, not great, but it's not the worst. At the wrist, we have a bit of forward and back here. Ankle armor can move up and down. Then we have a ball joint inside the foot itself, but we don't get a whole lot out of that. On the ground, that's it all the way to the front. So not bad. There it is all the way to the back. Again, okay, but it suffers a little bit, or should I say a lot, with that side to side pivot, which is very, very limited. On the whole, the articulation for the real Transformer right here is about average for a high grade. The only real letdown to me is the side-to-side pivot on the feet, but besides that, it's all pretty damn good. Anyway, that right there is it for the review of the 1/144th scale RX-78F00. So what can I say? I don't see why this is not called a high grade. It's got high grade polycaps, it's got high grade color separation, and it feels like a high grade. I guess the only thing that is a little different is the way they've adjusted some of the joints to be a little bit more like the statue. We've got no upper arm rotation, we've got some extra elbow rotation, but still none of these factors make me think that this shouldn't be called a high grade. It feels like a high grade. And that's why I'm gonna rank it like a high grade, and this right here is silver tier. That means it is par for the course, which is a good thing. It's a simple little kit that feels great, it looks great, and some of the redesigns on the weapons and the Gundam itself are quite refreshing. Sure, if you've built high-grade RX-78s before, this won't be a whole lot different, but it is pretty cool. You do get the G-Dock as well for that nice display, and that authentic Yokohama feel. Anyway, once again, thank you so much to Raid for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to come back for more gunpla reviews, and I will see you next time. Once again, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking each and every one of you guys. Whether you just watch my videos, like them, or support the channel on the channel memberships and over on Patreon. Like Craig Jury, Greg Humphrey, Kaiser721, Tyler Sanders, Caleb Engelhardt, Sean T, and the ambassador for Asymmetric Cats.